Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the second tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about the program that we wrote in the last tutorial. So I have the file that we created in the last video opened up here in my IDE code blocks. The name of the file is hello_world.cpp, and in this file I've got some statements. Now we're going to understand the meaning of each and every statement and why we have it in this program. Um, uh, and we're going to try to understand the basic anatomy of a C++ program, right? So the first line of code that you have in this file is hash, the pound symbol, include, and then the word iostream within angular brackets, or a less than symbol and a greater than symbol, right? So iostream is basically a dictionary, right? It has meanings of all the keywords that perform input and output operations in C++. So if you want to use any keyword that has a meaning in this particular dictionary, then you need to include this dictionary so that C++ can make sense of the keyword. So for instance, cout, the definition of cout would be present in iostream, and unless you're going to include iostream, C++ won't know what the meaning of cout is, and it's just going to be puzzled here. It won't know what it's supposed to do with the text that follows, or the text that's before cout. So that's what iostream is for, and it's one of the several header files that are available in C++. And in fact, the earlier convention suggested that you also had to put a .h at the end of your header file name, so that would be iostream.h, just to make it explicit that it's a header file. But then, since it became a common knowledge that these files were header files and this is how they were to be included in C++ files, they dropped that convention, and now you could just put in the name of the file, which is just iostream. And this is the manner in which you have to include it in your program. The preprocessor directive, that's what this is called in fancy terms, but it's just the pound symbol and then the word include. On line number 2, we see the statement using namespace std, and std here is short form for standard. So you're using the standard C++ namespace, and namespace offers you the flexibility of having you know the same name for multiple things. So cout, the one that belongs to the standard namespace, has a definition in the iostream header file, and it performs one thing. And you could also have your own function or your own identifier that's called cout, that could belong to your own namespace, which could be called the bat tutorials, or anything else, your name for that matter, and it could do a completely different thing. So the reason why we're putting namespace std, the reason why we're using this is because we don't want to type in the keyword std with these colons every time we have to use a keyword that belongs to the standard namespace. So since we are only using the standard namespace keywords, it makes sense to put it right here at the top of our program, and inform C++ that anything that you're going to find below in the program, just try to locate it in the standard namespace, and then try to find the meaning for that particular keyword in the header file iostream. On line number 3, we have the word int, which is short form for integer, followed by a space, and then the word main, followed by a set of empty parentheses, right? This is where the action begins. This is where C++ is going to start the program execution. And you must have noticed that main is a function. It's kind of obvious, because it is followed by these parentheses. Usually you have function definitions that have these characters, the opening parentheses and the closing parentheses, and then you also have the opening curly brace on line number 4 and the closing curly brace, the corresponding closing curly brace on line number 7. So this marks the boundary for main, and anything that's going to be inside these two braces is what C++ is going to try to execute, and this is also known as the main block, right? So int, as I mentioned, is short form for integer, and the reason why we have it here is because we're going to expect main to return an integer value, after executing whatever is there in the block. So in the block we just have like one executable statement, which is this statement on line number 5, and in C++, all executable statements have to be terminated with a semicolon. So that's why you see a semicolon on line number 5 at the end, and then on line number 6 at the end as well. So since we are expecting main to return an integer value, that's why we have the return statement on line number 6, just the keyword return, a space, and a number, and it has to be an integer number. So I have 0 here, but you could pass whatever value you feel like passing, 40, 50, 100, or whatever. And you have a semicolon at the end just to make it executable statement. And then on line number 5 you have the keyword cout. This is going to push whatever it sees after these two characters, the two less than symbols, the consecutive less than symbols, to the standard output stream, which is your screen. And in a later tutorial we're going to see cin, which is basically going to pull whatever it can from the standard input stream, which in all probability is going to be your keyboard, right? So this is just going to display the text hello world on screen. So that's pretty much it. That's all that's there in this program. There's nothing fancy going on here. I'll go to build and run the program once again, so you guys can see the output. So there we go, we see the text hello world, because this is what we tried to print using cout. And then we also see that the process returned 0, right? This is because we did explicitly return 0 to the main function through this return statement on line number 6. So I hope you guys had fun watching this video. You may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to see you in the next tutorial, in which we'll continue exploring C++. Take care, and see you soon.